It's not the reckless rampage, and it's also not the destructive roar, it's the raging tactics.
Stand up! Vanguard!
The Raging Tactics is the long-awaited sequel set of the Destructive Roar that was released in August of last year, a whopping 14 months ago of this set. So it's not hard to say that these three clans needed some upgrades. Just like the Destructive Roar, this set is also a very basic extra booster set with the cover art representing all three new VRs. Also, fun fact, the set name is a description of the new Spike Brothers mechanic that is introduced in this set, hence why the Spike Brother VR is in the center of the box art. The Raging Tactics is the latest extra booster set after My Glorious Justice. That makes this set code V-EB09. This set has support for the same three clans that were in the Destructive Roar: Megacolony, Spike Brothers, and Tachikaze. Hence, this set is called the Destructive Roar sequel. This set contains 66 cards, 55 new ones and 11 reprints, with all being grade 0s. The card varieties are divided into 3 VRs, 6 triple Rs, 9 double Rs, 15 rares, and 33 commons. This, as a result, splits the entire support in 3 equal chunks. So Megacolony, Tachikaze, as well as Spike Brothers gets 22 cards in this set. And just like the normal cards, even the high rarity cards are equally divided, as we have 3 SVRs and 9 SPs in this set. So no matter the clan that you're playing, you don't feel cheated from high rarities, unlike the previous set if your name didn't end with Paladin. This set provides a new interesting mechanic for Spike Brothers that uses force markers as a American football. Megacolony is turned into the first actual mill deck, and Tachikaze's equip gauge mechanic gets supercharged with the new support from this set. On the cover, we see all the new VRs, and we're gonna start the video like the Japanese format from right to left. Thundering Sword Dragon, Angerblader is the leader of the pack for Tachikaze's army. Angerblader allows you to generate equip gauges by turning your rearguards into gauges. This lowers the chance of accidentally gauging triggers. Also, this card allows you to trade units 1-for-1 with your opponent, but you gain gauges while doing so. And if that wasn't enough, this boss unit can restand 3 units and can give the front row 5k power. This boss unit is supported by insane support units. Super Acro Kanto is an insane beater that can become insanely hard to get rid of. Dark Rex can give us some right consistency in dicey situations. Savage Academian can give our gauges a second life. But in combination with Angerblader, we can generate a mini loop to field wipe our opponent for X amount of soul, without wasting rearguards. And to top it all off, we have Polonken Spine for the resource engine. The new Tachikaze can generate gauges faster, easier, and most importantly, can use them in more than one way, unlike the previous support that uses it only for power gain and potential draws. The new Tachikaze support consists out of 22 cards, 1 VR, 2 triple Rs, 3 double Rs, 5 rares and 11 commons. That includes 3 common reprint, 2 triggers and the old starter. Within this support we get something unique, as both new vanillas are grade 2s. They have the 12k beater and the double crit variant. But we also see the first card to break the status quo, as we have a 27k grade 3 that can be normal ridden onto your Vanguard circle. This set also includes the grade 1 draw drop PG and their third critical trigger, as well as the third front trigger. This support has a lot of new gauge support, from cards that can generate gauges to cards that can utilize gauges and cards that spend gauges for powerful skills. No matter the deck you play, this set has some tools to upgrade your build. However, there is one card in particular that I want to highlight. Armored Mammoth is the supercharged version of Attempt Mammoth. The only difference is you can control the power level of the card, and that makes this card insane in my books. No matter the opponent, you can deal them a damage as long as you have more gauges on this unit than their hand size. Meaning if they are at 5, they are practically dead. Getting this unit to high gauges isn't that hard with the new support, especially with the new VR Angerblader. However, the power of this unit doesn't lie in the fact that it will always deal damage, but that it can always deal damage. Let me explain. When this card has more gauges than your opponent's hand size, it will 100% hit because they can't guard the attack. However, Tachikaze has more than a single attack. They have maybe 4 other attacks including their Vanguard attack, and with Anger Blader they can increase this even more, meaning you can put your opponent in an awkward situation. If they have 7 cards in hand and they sit on 4 damage and you have this card with 4 gauges onto the field, they are forced to make a bad decision as they can't take a damage hoping for defensive trigger, because that means they can only guard with 3 cards from hand for the rest of the attacks to still be able to guard Armored Mammoth. So they are forced to guard all the other attacks and take the Armored Mammoth. So next turn they are forced to attack the Armored Mammoth that has still gauges equipped, because if they can't remove it or just outright kill you the turn, you will win the game next turn. This is just a basic example of a straightforward use, but Tachikaze has all kinds of skills that allows you to move gauges around even in the battle phase. And you can also use Armored Mammoth as a restand target for Anger Blader to screw with your opponent even more, because you can combine Anger Blader and Savage Raider to get 2 hits in that they can't guard, as you can reload Armored Mammoth with another batch of gauges. Tachikaze not only gets some nice looking support, they also got some new bling to accompany it with. They got 4 new parallel cards in this set, 1 SVR and 3 SPs. Now it's time to take a look at the namesake clan of this set. That Heat Bull Spike is the new quarterback for Spike Brothers. This star player together with Thaddeus introduces the new mechanic for Spike Brothers, where they can move their force markers from one circle to another. Bull Spike also steals a skill trope from Murokumo, where whenever a unit with a marker doesn't hit, you get to draw and retire rearguard from your opponent. But the value engine doesn't end there, as they have Powerback Ronaldo that can build fields on its own, and it's a crazy early aggro tool. That combined with the free retire and crit pressures from Bad End, 2 new solid grade 1 right targets and 2 crazy finishers, you can see how insane Spike Brothers has become, and it isn't even half time. The Spike Brothers support consists out of 22 cards, 1 VR, 2 triple Rs, 3 double Rs, 5 rares and 11 commons. This includes 4 common reprints, 3 triggers and the old starter. Within this support wave we get a 9k grade 1 vanilla, but also another 10k vanilla. This set also includes the grade 1 draw drop PG and their 3rd critical trigger. This support wave focuses on 3 aspects. We have the new gift marker mechanic, we also have some runaway Cyphered support and some generic aggro tools for early as well as late game. This has something for every Spike player. In this wave there isn't really any card that I want to highlight, as there isn't a single card that stands out, as most of them have a solid role to play. Of course we have Powerback Ronaldo that has some insane value and can give you crazy early game. You might also know of Thaddeus and its combination with Bull Spike, where no matter the outcome you will get to retire rearguard. We also have Flare Blast Coyote that can be an excellent finisher for standard as well as premium spikes, but in the nature of early tempo playstyle of standard spikes allows me to shine a light on their new grade 1 offensive punter. This grade 1 is pretty nuts in combination of the whole clan. Spikes is a clan that gets going right from turn 1, where you start calling units the moment you ride up to grade 2 with cards like Ronaldo and Spike Bouncer. This card recalls itself when it gets rode upon, which means you can call it to the front row for offensive plays or as a booster to increase your power output. But most of its value comes from its first ability. This unit can become a 10k booster for a Soul Blast, and at the end of the battle it puts itself on the bottom and draws you a card. Having a 10k booster has so much value for an early aggro deck that relies on free attacks. This means you can always swing twice in the early game, because if they get a defensive trigger, this 10k boost will overcome that power increase. So they either lose a card from hand or you rank up some extra damage. With a 9k or 8k booster, this wouldn't be possible. Also, fun interaction is that it reshuffles itself at the end of the battle and draws you a card. However, this is a delayed trigger that doesn't need to be fulfilled to get a draw. So meaning you will still get a draw even if you send this card somewhere else with another skill before you resolve this delayed trigger with something, I don't know, Hellward 8 for premium players? So as you can see, there is more to this card that meets the eye, and that goes for all these new support cards. Speaking about eye candy, Spike Brothers also gets some shiny bling in this set for a total of 4 new parallel cards, 1 SVR and 3 SPs. So it's time to upgrade your team's uniform as you want to look good while stomping on your opponent. Now that we have seen the aggression of this set, let's take a look at the more sneaky and devious clan of this set. This set ushers a new era for Megacolony with true demonic rival rogue gunning Kolio. This new VR introduced a new playstyle to Vanguard, as it is the first mill strategy that mills your opponent out of the game. This together with protect markers gives Megacolony an edge over other decks in regards of the mill strategy. They have defensive capabilities while at the same time you put your opponent on a clock, and with other mill cards like Cyclamatooth, Killer Leaf and Brawny Jerk, that clock is ticking fast. This new Megacolony support consists out of 22 cards, 1 VR, 2 triple Rs, 3 double Rs, 5 rares and 11 commons. This includes 4 common reprints, 3 triggers and the old starter. For this set vanillas we get the 12k grade 2 and a second copy of the 15k shield grade 1. This set also includes the grade 1 draw drop PG and their third critical trigger. The main support is all around the new mill mechanic, but we also see some new machining support and some generic cards that can be thrown in any type of deck, and one of these generic cards brings something interesting to the table. Red Light Mutant Flat Ray is a unique card at the least. Besides his 7k body, his skill is something worth to talk about. For one counterblast, you can give this unit a variable power boost, and using counterblast for just a boost of power is something that's always up in the air if it's worth it or not. But because it's a variable power boost, there should be a tipping point where everybody will agree it's worth it. In the low side of the spectrum, we only have 2 7k grade 1s to choose for a 15k increase. Probably not really worth it, but on the flip side, it can also be that there are 2 grade 3s on the field, so that can be an increase of 24k or 26k, making it a 31 to a 33k attack. And using a counterblast for such a number is probably more worth it, especially with the excess amount of counterblasts you have available to you in Megacolony. But this alone doesn't make this card worth our time to talk about it in such detail. That has to do with the wording of the skill. His skill states that it gets their power and not their original power, meaning every extra power increase that's on the card will also transfer to this card. And with more and more cards gaining passive power boosts during the opponent's turn, this card's potential will increase more. Great examples are Blasterblade with Gancelot and Monarch, Twilight Hunter Artemis, and more recently from this set, Sweeper Acrocanto, that can become a beast. Also, the new high base power units that are popping up like Savage Mercenary will give this card more and more potential. Also, Protect 2 works in favor of this card, and by the time we get Gift Free, this card might get more options. In the current environment, this card's power level will most likely be around the 27 to 33k, but when we get into a more passive power meta, this card can skyrocket in value. So Megacolony players, don't forget about this one. Something that most likely won't be overlooked are the new shiny cards for Megacolony. They got, just like the other clans in this set, a total of 4 parallel cards, 1 SVR and 3 different SPs. And with that we come to the part where everybody is looking forward to the most, and that's the part where I announce which spotlight and which decks we're gonna feature on the channel. And for this set we have 3 VRs, 3 clans. So the answer is very simple. All of them. We're gonna cover all 3 3Rs, so every clan in this set is gonna get a special featured spotlight with their new respective VR at the center line. And we do it in order, so we start off with Thundering Sword Dragon Anger Blader for Tachikaze. This new hyper aggressive playstyle for Tachikaze with all the extra features for the equip gauge is giving the clan and the deck some supercharged capabilities, and we're gonna take a good in-depth look of what this clan can do with the new support. Then next up we've got Dead Heat Bull Spike for Spike Brothers, and this new support wave brings a new mechanic to the clan and even to Vanguard itself, with the whole switching of force markers between your units like it's an American football that's being passed down through your runners. So look forward to an interesting spotlight with a all new mechanic featured as the center line. And we round up the spotlights on the channel for this set with none other than true demonic rival rogue gunning Kolio for Megacolony. And this support wave introduced us with some new interesting aspect to Vanguard, and that is the mill mechanic. So for the very first time we've got an actual mill focused strategy to a deck, not just 1 or 2 specific cards that can be used in the mill strategy. No, The main cards will mill your opponent, and who knows, with future updates, this might be a actual win condition that can be used for certain people with their favorite play strategies. So if you're interested in any of these clans and their deck spotlights, then stick around, because these spotlights will be featured on the channel very soon in the next coming days. And with that, I want to thank you for watching this video, and this video has been brought to you by our lovely people over at our Patreon page, as you guys make this stuff possible. If you do want to support the channel, then you can head over to our if you do want to support us, you can head over to our Patreon page and become a pledged patron today. But with that said, I'm Mr. Time Leap, and I see you guys in the next one! It's funny that every time when these three clans are together in one box, the name either signifies Spike Brothers or Tachikaze, but never Megacolony.